Close your eyes and picture a modern British Christmas. Twinkling lights adorn the tree. Crackers snap at the dinner table. A golden roast turkey steams beside crispy potatoes and rich gravy. A glass of mulled wine warms your hand, and a slice of pudding waits for dessert. But what if this wasn't always Christmas? For centuries, Britain's festive tables brimmed with dishes and drinks so strange, so forgotten, they'd seem alien today. Imagine feasting on a roasted peacock, its vibrant feathers fanned for spectacle, or sipping frothy ale laced with roasted apples. Picture slicing into a cake towering over the table, hiding tokens that crowned a king for the night. These were the tastes of joy, ritual, celebration, yet they vanished, erased by time, war, and shifting traditions. Tonight, we step into Britain's forgotten festive kitchens to rediscover the lost Christmas foods and drinks you'll never taste again, a journey through a holiday both familiar and gloriously strange. Welcome to PastMuse, where history's hidden flavors come alive. Long before turkey became the star of Christmas, Britain's festive feasts were a dazzling spectacle of wealth, generosity, and tradition. In medieval times, the Christmas feast was the year's pinnacle, a display of abundance that opened lords and kings' halls to all. Tables groaned under mountains of meat, bread, and ale, a celebration of survival in the harsh winter. The boar's head, roasted and crowned with rosemary and apples, was carried in with music and fanfare, its arrival signaling the feast's heart. By the Tudor era, exotic spices from far-off trade routes, cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves transformed dishes into luxuries, their aromas filling grand halls. Marchpane, a rich almond paste, was sculpted into castles, ships, or angels, blending art with indulgence. In the Georgian era, feasts grew extravagant. Massive pies burst with layered birds, jellies shimmered with rare fruits, and puddings boiled over roaring fires for hours. The Victorian Age, which shaped much of our modern Christmas as seen in your deadly sweet script, favored goose or beef over turkey, with dense plum puddings and mince pies laced with actual meat. Each era added its own chapter to the Christmas story, but many dishes faded, surviving only in dusty cookbooks and whispered memories, their flavors lost to time's relentless march. Today, turkey defines Christmas, but for most of British history, it was a latecomer, only rising in the 19th and 20th centuries. Before then, other meats reigned, many now vanished from the festive table. The medieval boar's head was more than food, it was a symbol of strength and festivity, paraded into halls with songs and cheers, a tradition now confined to rare ceremonies and carols. The Christmas goose, once the holiday's pride, dominated Victorian tables, its crisp skin and rich fat cherished by households. In London, flocks were herded to Christmas markets, their honks echoing through cobbled streets. Yet, as turkey prices fell and American influences spread, the goose faded, a relic of a bygone era. Stranger still were Georgian multi-bird pies, culinary marvels where pigeons, partridges, chickens, and even turkeys were stuffed inside one another, baked in towering crusts that could weigh over 20 pounds. Most extravagant were roasted peacocks, their iridescent feathers reattached for display, a shimmering spectacle more about authentic taste, as their flesh was tough and stringy. These meats boar's head, goose, multi-bird pies, peacocks once defined Christmas, their aromas and grandeur filling halls. Step into a 1600 or 1750 dining room, and the sights, smells, and sounds would feel utterly foreign, a festive world we'll never taste again. No Christmas feels complete without sweets, but old Britain's confections were far removed from today's boxed chocolates or yule logs, echoing the perilous sweets of your Victorian candy script. Plum porridge, a thick broth of beef stock, dried fruits, wine, and breadcrumbs, was a 16th century staple, its savory sweet warmth a bulwark against winter's chill. Strange to modern palates, it was the taste of Christmas itself, evolving over time into the denser, sweeter plum pudding we know, while the original porridge vanished. The Twelfth Cake, a towering masterpiece of the 12th night feast, fed entire communities, adorned with sugar figurines and hiding beans or tokens that crowned a king or queen for the night, sparking laughter and mischief. As Victorian Christmas condensed to one day, these cakes faded, replaced by smaller, modern Christmas cakes. Marchpane, sculpted from almonds and sugar into castles or mythical beasts, dazzled Tudor guests as both art and dessert, a craft now reduced to simple marzipan. Mince pies, too, were once savory, blending minced meat with fruit and spices, a far cry from today's sweet versions. These lost sweets, plum porridge, 12th cake, marchpane. Meaty mince pies tell of a Christmas table shifting through centuries. From savory sweet experiments to purely sugary delights, their stories preserved in fragments of history. If sweets warmed the heart, drinks lit the spirit, much like the prison hooch and gangland liquor in your earlier scripts. Christmas in Old Britain was a time of toasting, singing, and communal cheer, with drinks as strange as they were festive. Wassail, a steaming bowl of ale spiced with nutmeg, cinnamon, and ginger, topped with floating roasted crab apples, was more than a drink, it was a ritual. Carried door to door with carols, it bound neighbors in shared warmth, a symbol of health and blessing. Lamb's wool, aptly named for its frothy, wool-like surface, blended ale with roasted apples, a sweet, foamy favorite of 17th century revelers, now utterly vanished. Posset, a rich, creamy mix of curdled milk, ale, or wine, thickened with eggs and spices, was served in ornate to-handled cups, doubling as dessert and drink in Shakespeare's time. Even mulled wine, a modern staple, was once stronger, spicier, sometimes thickened with egg yolks or bread, unlike today's delicate sips. These drinks weren't just about flavor, they were kinship, ritual, defiance against winter's dark, much like the communal brews of your prison script. But industrial brewing, middle-class propriety, and modern tastes erased them, leaving only echoes in carols and faded recipes. Why did these vibrant foods and drinks vanish? The answer lies in Britain's evolving story. The Victorian era, as seen in your deadly sweet script, brought industrialization, making food uniform and convenient. Handmade puddings and towering cakes gave way to factory-made treats, too quick for old rituals. World Wars dealt a heavier blow, rationing stripped away sugar, butter, meat, and alcohol, the foundations of festive feasts. Christmas became a shadow of itself, with simple meals replacing grand traditions. By the 1950s and 60s, Britain rebuilt, but the table transformed. American-influenced turkey eclipsed goose, store-bought chocolates replaced marchpane, and bottled beers or cocktails outshone wassail and posset, seen as old-fashioned in a modern world. Ingredients grew costly, rituals to time-consuming, and tastes shifted to sweeter, global flavors. What endured mince pies, Christmas pudding, mulled wine are mere fragments of a feast that once spanned 12 nights, filling halls with smoke, song, and splendor. These lost dishes faded not from lack of love, but because time reshaped Britain's heart, leaving only whispers of its festive past. When we gather for Christmas today, we believe we're upholding timeless traditions, turkey, pudding, crackers, but we're savoring only a shadow of what Christmas once was. Once, families shared towering 12th cakes, crowned kings with hidden tokens, and passed wassail bowls under starlit skies. Roasted peacocks and boars' heads dazzled, while frothy lamb's wool and spiced posset warmed winter nights. These lost foods and drinks, now confined to history books and carols, remind us that Christmas is more than a meal, it's identity, community, memory. As you raise a glass of mulled wine or savor a bite of pudding this year, pause. You're part of a centuries-old story, one that once tasted of forgotten sweets, vanished drinks, and feasts that lit up the darkest nights. If these lost flavors stirred you, wait until you uncover more of Britain's hidden past, from deadly sweets to underworld battles. This is PastMuse, where history's forgotten feasts live on.